Hey everybody. Hey, good evening. Hey. So more than likely you are catching the replay to this. So I want you to drop me down below in the comments what city you're from and if this is your first time seeing me on a live stream. If you're like, girl, who are you? I'm about to let you know because we're about to get into it. But let me know where you're tuning in from down in the comments. And most of the people, most of my audience, most of my followers are entrepreneurs. Okay. So you don't, when I say entrepreneur, I don't mean you have to be full time self employed. I mean you have a 9 to 5 and you have a business. If that's you, put that in the comments. I have a 9 to 5. This is my 9 to 5 and this is my business. Okay. I do not just talk to full blown entrepreneurs. I really don't. The majority of people have a 9 to 5 and a job. Okay, so drop that down in the comments. So I really want to talk about. So I've been hearing this, and I was doing some research about kind of like the ladies in my audience, what they're struggling with, what they're thinking about, and I saw this, and I want you to let me know in the comments if you really resonate to this, so that I can come back to it and kind of know, if this is you. Are you stuck between? And I'm gonna give my own experience with this. Okay, are you stuck between? This is the question of the night. Are you stuck between wanting to be private and create content? Is that you? Is it you? Is it you? Is that you? Are you stuck between wanting to be private and create content? Woo child. Tonight I want to talk about the pros and cons of that. I want to share my experience with that. And then I want to give you my number one advice if you are thinking this. Okay? So let me know down in the comments. Are you really stuck between wanting to be private and creating content? And why or why not? Okay? Because there are going to be some people that are going to say, hey, my private life is the most important thing. My privacy, my happiness, my kids, my man, what I cook, what I wear, how I'm feeling on a daily basis, my job, my boss, that's my privacy. And I see all of these creators and their lives are in the spotlight. Their lives are in the spotlight. Their flaws are in the spotlight. People are mean as heck in the comments. People have an opinion on everything that they do. So as for me and mine, I'm going to keep that private. When I hear people, or just from, I don't know, maybe just my perspective, this is what I hear. I hear people saying, man, who has time, or why would I sacrifice my peace to create content, to influence, to have a business, to make money? That sounds stupid. And I resonate with that. And this is coming from somebody who, right? Then you have other people that say, forget it. It's worth the risk. You're being scared. Do the content. Show your life. You have people who also almost effortlessly create content. And you're like, dang, they just showing. Have you ever seen somebody's content? You're like, bro, they are so simple. Or it's like the easiest content ever. But because they show everyday parts of their lives, very simple things, or they just simply show up, it engages thousands and sometimes millions of people, and they experience life changing transformations because of the vulnerability. Right? I can think of a couple of people that come to mind. Let me think of somebody that comes to mind where it's the most authentic, snipping into their day-to-day life, and they've blown up because of it. It has nothing to do with business, and that's Sakias. Do y'all follow her on TikTok? Where she be like, hey y'all, and she be showing us her plate of what she eat, and when she cook dinner, like she just showed herself eating. And it's so simple, yet for most of us that would be so intrusive and so like cringy to share. But we watch somebody else do it. And we watch them do it every day. Millions of us. Okay, so respond to other people's comments and stuff and let me know what y'all think. And we'll keep the conversation respectful, but I want us to be honest because this is something that I've battled with. This is something that I know that a lot of my friends and some of y'all's probably favorite content creators used to battle with. I'm not going to say they battle with it now. I don't want to say that I too much battle with it anymore. I'm going to just be honest. Are you stuck between wanting to be private and create content? So if you don't know who I am, if this is your first time tuning into a live stream, my name is Deb Bliss and my brand is Conquer, where we basically just conquer life. So I'm a girl that lives in Dallas, Texas. I love my family. I love business. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for almost 3 years. And I love helping women live their best life through their business, creating content, and just showing up for themselves unapologetically. Okay? But I mostly help people get over there, conquer their fear of being seen, conquer their fear of going to the next level. Okay? Let's talk about the pros and cons of this discussion. Being stuck between wanting to be private and create content. Let's talk about the pros. Let's talk about the pros of being private. And let's just keep it 1,000. Let's talk about the pros of being private. The pro of being private is that it's peace beyond, and I'm gonna just keep it 1,000. The pro of being private is truly peace beyond what I think any famous person, content creator, or influencer is ever experiencing. And even though I want to do it, I feel like the peace and privacy that I have today is I'm like, bro, I might as well enjoy it before I blow up. Because sometimes I really think that when you blow up to a certain point and your life is just out in the open like that it creates a crazy internal peace. Right? Let's talk about the pro of putting it out there. You get a chance to blow up. Big risk, big reward. The seed that you plant, you get exponential fruit. That's the pro of just doing it. Turn it on the camera. I'm in my house. I put on a shirt. I got on some leggings. I have a business. I want to reach people. I have a ring light, 3 lights from Amazon, a $10 mic from Amazon, and I'm talking about what I know. And because I am bold enough and brave enough to do that, people are going to tune in. People are going to say, who is this? People are going to book a call. People are going to go through because big risk, big reward. And the average person is just not going to take a risk that big, even if they want to blow up. So the people that want to blow up and take the risk, they get the reward. Okay? I mean, let's talk about it in the comments. What do you think? And it's so many things, right? Because you can be in so many seasons of life. And I want to give y'all my perspective. I want to give y'all my take on this as, okay, it depends on your season of life, okay? So let me talk about my perspective of this and my experience in this and just give y'all kind of like what I think about this in my head, right? And this is just me rambling. I feel like, so let me tell y'all about me, right? So I have always been the little black girl that was charismatic. I did well in school. I went to college. It wasn't really for me. I got married. I excelled in my career. Faced some trials and tribulations, like who hasn't? However, I found myself, in my late 20s, really, really, really digging into entrepreneurship at another level. I was really hungry for, I was excelling in my job so much that I would get bored with them, but I learned a lot. But entrepreneurship has just always been in my brain, like my entire life. Like my mama was the candy lady. Y'all remember when we used to go to the house? You just go to the lady up the street house and candy lady get you a 25-cent freeze cup. So I watched, I even something like that, I watched it. I saw her reinvent, and she would get to a point where we had like an open and close sign in the front door, or a better cooler or a nicer table. Like I saw that even on a small level. Always been into entrepreneurship. Really starting getting serious with it in my late 20s, when I was taking a lot of the retail and sales and HR stuff that I was learning at work and helping other business owners. Right? So I was doing business consulting during that time. And then I took a course on marketing and excelled in it and did so good. And during that time when I was consulting women, they would have these I'm talking about amazing ideas. I'm talking about mind blowing ideas. Some of y'all on this live right now have mind blowing ideas, right? And I would tell them things that they could do to get momentum in their business. But if I told them, girl, I have a magic pill, it's $5,000. You ain't got to create no content. They will believe that BS over me saying, hey, girl, this is what you got to do. These women were in a season of their business where they had everything that they needed. Products, service. And when I first started, I was telling people get LLCs and doing business plans and all type of stuff. Then we really started getting into the social media marketing, the marketing. And I'm like, hey, okay, girl, this is brilliant. Like, you got a website, you got this, you that. You need to start going live. You need to start doing reels. You need to start filming your day. And they was like, whoa. Whoa, big dog. What you talking about? Let people into my world. Like, how can I do it without doing all that? And I used to be like, okay, you can. You can go faceless. You can go private. You can do all of that. But if you're not going to get the camera and record the content yourself, you need somebody else to do it for you. So you need UGC, user-generated content, which costs money. You're going to need ads because the content itself can be really engaging, but if you want to reach the masses, you're going to need some ads. So I'm like, okay, if you want to go private, I respect it, but where's the money that you have to sacrifice because you don't want to do that part? Y'all feel what I'm saying? So this is why I say let's talk about both sides. Let's talk about the pros and the cons, because you might say, yeah, I'd rather have my privacy, I'd rather have my peace. But you got to think about what you're asking for. A sacrifice is required. And so if you don't want to sacrifice that, your sacrifice is your money. So do you want to invest in a level that's so sacrificial that you do big risk, big reward? So I guess this really becomes a discussion of which way do you want to win? Which way do you want to win and which way do you want to lose? Because I think a part of the journey and what we have to understand is nobody jumps in just zero. Chapter 1, win. Chapter 2, win. Chapter 3, win. Chapter 4, win. Chapter 5, win. Like, that's nobody's journey. There is going to be an element of fear and failure in your journey that feels so great that it literally feels like you holding on to the walls every day trying to make it through. Because what you want at the end of that tunnel is pure bliss. There is opposition that's going to be required of you. So if you're a team private, where's your money? Where's your sacrificial dollar for you to go from average to great? And if your team create content, because let's be real, I ain't got the money. I work a 9 to 5, but my money going to my bills. My money going to my day-to-day life. I don't have hundreds of dollars to pour into. In hundreds, that's the bare minimum. I don't have money to hire a VA, to hire a Deb. Or I do, but I choose not to spend it on these things. Well, if that's the case, baby, it's time to hit record. You better get to it. Because the sacrifice has to match the outcome. And I think that a lot of us, me included, have seen moments where the sacrifice went so deep for some reason, good or bad. You had a really good moment, you was feeling good about yourself, so you dug in, or you had something that hurt you so bad you dug in too. But I think a lot of us, me included, have had moments where we sacrificed so big and what was on the other side of it was so amazing that you're like, oh, this is how it works. Right? Maybe money got so low at one point in time where there was nowhere to stay, which is a low low. But on the other side of that was moving to a new city and meeting the love of your life and getting a good job and having new friends. You gotta win and you gotta lose. That's the way to the finish line. If the way to the finish line was we get up and everybody win, bro, what makes me special? What makes me stand out? I know it sounds crazy and it's so scary, but what makes me stand out is the resilience. What makes me stand out is the opposition. What makes me stand out is, even like today, y'all, I was working and I got some clarity in the area of my business. I mean, something I've been thinking about for months. I've been thinking about it for a long time. But I got some clarity and I was like, oh, so that's what the next level looks like. It wouldn't even have been possible for me to get that level of clarity without truly taking the journey. Okay? All right. So what y'all think? Y'all sounding off in the comments. I'm sure y'all are really sounding off in the comments. What do you do, or what do I recommend if you truly believe that you are stuck between wanting to be private and create content? What is it that I recommend? My answer is truly this. I think that life requires different seasons and different versions of you. Right? There were some seasons of my life where this business had to take, and I'm just being so 100% real and raw honest. I know the core of my brand is consistency, and that's that. And in a sense, I've just always been consistent, like just always. But there have been some seasons where if I didn't take it down some to reassess me and to analyze what is going on, I'm going to destroy everything in my path. Everything that I touch is going to be destroyed. Because right now, I'm not capable of making good decisions and making good connections and making good collaborations and making good revenue decisions because something about me is way over here left field. Right? But I think it's important that when you're in that season and you conquer whatever that is for you, that you say, all right, it's time to move on now. It's time to take a bigger risk. All right, what did we learn in this season? Let's get to it. Because some of us will get hit and we'll stay on the floor a little too long. That ever happen to y'all? Or y'all had a friend or something happened in their life and you'd be like, woo, child, I'm on the floor a little too long here. Right? We have to understand that those moments are, it's truly like weight training. They say when you in the gym and you lifting weights, it's not that the weights get lighter, it's that you get stronger. It's the same thing. Right? It's the same thing. The weights don't get lighter, you get stronger. So, you're stuck between wanting to be private and create content. Let me tell you the number one thing. What season are you in? This is something that we need to be sitting with ourselves thinking about. Okay, what season am I in right now? What's important to me? If it's I need to go to the next level because I'm not getting what I want, I don't make the money I want, I don't have the things I want, I can't go where I want to do, I can't impact like I want to do, then maybe I need to start hitting record and get into it. Because ain't nobody holding me back but me. I honestly have the time. I'm not going to lie. When I come home, I be scrolling and I just be chilling and I just, I grab me something to eat and I get to scroll, watch something on Netflix, girl. I might think about creating some content, but I be like, no. Or maybe I will create some content, put it on my phone and never, How I know? I've been there before. Right? However, I had to get to a point where I'm like, hey, what you want to do? Right? Because, y'all know I always say, there is no in between. It's either 1% or 99%. So you're going to have to make the jump. And it is a big jump. I'm not gonna lie, like it's just gonna feel easy and natural to just get up tomorrow and start doing your content. But it's what's required. Okay? But if that's you, then you just need to stop being scared. Because your problem is already solved. Like, you got everything you want at your fingertips. If that's you. Okay? So what do you think? Now, are you... after listening to this, let's talk about it. Are you team private or team create the content? Comment down below. Are you, after listening to this, right? We looked at it from both perspectives, right? The privacy. You're like, nothing is worth my piece of influencing people. I get that. And let me add this because I was thinking about this earlier. I think it's also important to note that when you're the creator or you're the storyteller, you can control the narrative a lot more than you probably give yourself credit for. You're the storyteller. I don't have to share. Some people do. But think about this for yourself. You don't have to share all the silly nuances of your life or the most. You still control the boundary. You don't have to get on here and talk about, man, my kids act up at school today trying to some sob story for yourself just to get attention. You don't have to do that. You can still do it in a way that works for you. A way that allows you to hold your head up high when it comes to your platform and the way that you want to influence people and impact people. Just start doing. Because once you start doing, it just gets clearer. And you're like, oh, now I see how they do that. Or you're like, oh, I didn't know that. But had somebody told you that before you even started to do those things, you wouldn't even be capable of understanding. You have to take the steps. You have to do the journey. Okay, so that's what I always want us to think about too when you think about team private or team creating content. Even once you do, if you do decide to be private or you do decide to create content, where do you draw the line? Only you can define that for yourself. Sit down with yourself. Write it down. Y'all know me, I type it out. Y'all know I always have my Flyboss planner. Shout out to Vera. I always have my Flyboss planner. That was just like the most perfect plug ever in the world. Because I do. I tote this thing with me everywhere. And I write. And I keep with my notes with me. Even if I just tore this right out of my kitchen. And I write notes from a Zoom call I had earlier. I had wrote down some ideas that I had. I have some ideas for my client while I was having lunch. I just jotted them down. I was on a Zoom call earlier. I took the notes for that. The people on the Zoom call gave me an idea that I kind of thought to myself. I wrote that down. And then 2 things that popped in my mind just about how I could do to elevate my business. So, again, just being intentional with those ideas. Yeah, you're a good idea person, but that's most of us. That's most of us. Most of us, man, you know how many, if I could be rich off ideas or listening to other people's ideas, how rich I would be. Do you know this? Man, how rich I would be off ideas. How rich you would probably be off just ideas. The idea is just the knock on the door to the journey. You ain't even, like, we talking about going down the tunnel through all the opposition to get through. The idea just to knock on the door. It's just the, hey, this is what I'm thinking, can I come in? You ain't even got started on the journey yet. You got to execute the idea to even get in the race. You feel what I'm saying? You got to execute the idea to even get in the race. So if you're talking about team private and team creating content, what do you think? And why? You can always control the narrative of what you display to people. For the most part. Now, sometimes stuff happens. You can't always control the narrative. But if you're being authentic, then, you know. But, hey, even then, you just never know. Okay, so what do y'all think? Are y'all team private or team create the content? Let me know down in the comments, and let me know if y'all enjoyed this today. if you listen to this and you got towards the end, you know what's crazy is today almost just kind of feels like a podcast or something. I really, really, really like this. We're gonna be doing, yeah. Okay. Let me know in the comments. Are you team private or team create content? Why not? Let me know down in the comments, and we will talk about this topic more. And if you're watching this almost to the end, that's what I was about to say, and you're catching the replay, please let me know. Let me know that you're hashtag team replay. So I love y'all so much. I hope y'all have an amazing day and night, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.